Ouch. Well, at least there's not a big bruise on the inside. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this overstuffed house. Guess where I was? I still haven't cut this thing off. I've not been sitting up most of the day. I've been laying a lot. So once everybody gets here, I'll explain things. So I hope you all have been having a good week and that you have a good weekend coming. I think we're supposed to get some rain. We had a little bit tonight, and I think we're supposed to have some more overnight. So it'll be a inside day for me. I had bought some plants, and these little buggers, they ate the top off of the pepper plant, which was a surprise to me. I did not expect that. What is making this go wonky? Get caught up here. My mix. Hey Nora, how are you? There we go. My YouTube channel thing was going a little wonky. Still got a dot right in front of my eye on my glasses. So give me a second. There we go. Now I got rid of it. I know the lighting's a little off. Most of the light is this way because I'm at Mike's desk, so I don't have any light coming at me front on except for the monitor. So everything's got a little bit of an odd blue cast to it, but this is going to be a little short tonight because at 2 o'clock in the morning, I had to call myself, that chauffeur with the flashing lights on it to get me to the ER. The smaller of the two hernias seized up and I couldn't get it to undo, and I was seeing stars, so I had to take a trip to the ER. The good part is that I now have had the CAT scan done. Hi, Rig. So the CAT scan's now done, and we know that that the one hernia has a bigger tear and has gotten bigger, but the one that was causing the trouble has more that's pressed through the tear, but the tear hadn't gotten any bigger. Because in your anatomy, you have this thin membrane all down through the front that holds your intestines and your organs, all that soft tissue stuff, in the position it's supposed to be in. So when it tears, some of that comes through, and that's what a hernia is. So I'm okay. I'm really actually had an okay time because I actually got a nurse that got me right in once. I've got the tiniest of bruise like that for the IV. That's a rarity for me. Usually I'm a very hard stick, and they make me want to cry, some of them, because they feel like they're jamming a screwdriver into you. But she had a good touch and got right in there, and easiest one I think I've ever had. So that was a plus. And it was a plus that they put me in the CAT scan. And when they found out I was claustrophobic, they actually they gave me something for the pain. But then when they found out I was claustrophobic, they said, well, we're going to give you, just to help keep you calm, we're going to give you a shot of Xanax before the MRI. So that was okay, but their MRI is nice. I didn't go to Crozier because what's the point? They didn't have, that's where my surgeon had been and quit. So I made them go take me. They had to take me out to Riddle, and so they did. And I think my paperwork has 2 phone numbers on it recommended out at Riddle. So I got to see if they take my insurance. I didn't get any calls made today, really, because I was just way too tired. I got home, I think about 6:30 in the morning. And I had left here at 2. So, yeah, I've not always had great times with IVs. I'm a hard stick. They tell me my veins are thin and the vein walls are kind of on the thick side. So, but she got in there very easily. She was a little worried about my blood pressure, but come on, consider the circumstances. Of course, my blood pressure's gonna be a little high. So, and it was funny. It's like after the Xanax, the blood pressure was dropping. But they had a nice big CAT scan machine. But laying there and looking up, they have this light panel. It's a really long one too, over your head in the ceiling, and it's backlit, but it's a picture of the blue sky, couple of clouds, and there's about 4 or 5 different types of trees. There's 5 trees, but there's 4 different types. And I'm looking and she goes, "Do you know what any of them are?" And I'm like, "Well, that one is a poplar tree, and then that one is a maple, and that one is an oak." But then there was this other one that had these white flowers all over it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So that one kind of got me. But it was really cool because it gives you something to focus on when you're laying there. So that's a big help for people that don't like going into any of those machines that, have to slide you into them. Makes me wonder if their MRI is bigger because I know MRI at Crozier is really old. And when I had to have an MRI once before, the one I went into and had that meltdown, it's extremely narrow. My shoulders were being pushed in like this. That's how small it is. So, so I went somewhere else for the one for my knee and found out they can put me in feet first when I had the one for my knee a couple months ago. And not only do they put you in feet first, the thing's way bigger. They have a new one at the other place I went to. So, hello, Nancy. How are you doing? Oh, yes, I hope everybody's had a blessed week. I certainly have it. So, today has been, I'm limited to how long I could sit up. So I haven't done much of that today. I've been reading and uh, watching movies with Mike. And so basically just not doing much anything except sleeping and recovering. So they did have a woman doctor who they did an ultrasound first, which, I had to laugh because that doesn't usually work. And and she did some manipulation because she said if it's constricted and it's got food in it where your intestine comes through that and creates that hernia, then it will show up on the ultrasound. So she managed to see the one that was giving me trouble, and then she started trying to manipulate it. But she's got the benefit of being able to understand the ultrasound picture to be able to tell what she's looking at. And she managed to manipulate it and get it to open back up again. And she also managed, she said, "Do you want me to try to push some of it back in where it belongs?" I said, "Sure, why not?" By this point, pain meds kicked in and the Xanax had started to kick in. So she tried. I screamed. Painkillers weren't quite enough. But she did get it to open back up, because what happens is if that's your intestines are a tube, and if the sides touch each other, they can stick together, and it is incredibly painful. And you can't. I've been lucky when it's happened before. I've been able to get it to separate, but I could not get this one to separate. When it's happened before, it's been on the other side where there's the bigger tear in that membrane. So if you guys ever have hernias, now you know what they actually are, and you know that what they can do. And when they strangulate like that, it's dangerous, because if it were to rupture, you can go septic, and then you can have all kinds of trouble. that can be problems for months. There was someone that we had in the reselling community 2 years ago that had something happen, and yeah, she kept going in and out of the hospital because she was going septic, and it was very dangerous if that happens to you. So, so if you, I mean, some people can have hernias and they don't bother them. The most common one it doesn't mess with you is what they call an umbilical hernia, where in that the spot where your belly button is, a hernia starts coming through there a little bit. But that's usually not a problem. But when it's one of these ones where it's a tear of the membrane and it's your intestinal wall, that's a little more problematic, and that's what I've got. So, but I'm doing all right. And oh yeah, I mean, I've had trouble tying my own shoes. When I went to the hospital, I was wearing my sneakers like they were slippers because I couldn't bend down to, put the heel back up, because I just slid right into the water shoes that I have, and half the time use around the house for the indoor shoes. So that was interesting. It was interesting. She did laugh at me. The nurses got a kick out of the fact that my pajama pants were Christmas pajama pants. So they thought that was kind of funny. So having had time to read, I did finish. Um, I had that video up, which, I mean, it's still up. If anybody wants to add votes to it, they certainly can. Of having you guys pick what I was going to read. So one of the top ones was The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, because I had a really old copy, which I've dated to 1900 or 1899. Depending on which website you look at, will say one or the other for that particular edition. And so I finished that, and then I couldn't remember which one of the plays it was on, and I needed something lightweight. So I started on this. I've wanted to see the movie, and the movie's on Netflix. So I have the play, and so I started that today since it's nice and lightweight. So I'll get that one. Hello, Warren. What else was I going to tell you before I started on sorting out this stuff? We'll do a little bit of a work with me tonight. But that video of you can pick what I'm going to read next, that's still up, and you really can still add to it, because eventually I'm going to have to read all those books. But a lot of things only got one vote. Move up the list further, because I'm reading the ones. I'm going to start on the ones that had the most votes first. That's why I did Scarlet Letter. I think that got picked a lot because most people knew that one. So it was a title everybody recognized. I hadn't recognized it. I mean, I hadn't read it in decades. I think it's one of the first ones I read when I got out of high school. It might have been before then, because when I had talked to the one history teacher that I got very close to, and she was so dumbfounded that there was so much literature that I didn't know. She had given me some titles to read over the summer, between my junior and senior year. And I think that was one of them. Dante's Inferno was one. I liked that one. That one cracks me up. Yeah, I think that was on the list because it was that one, and Catcher in the Rye, which I thought was absolutely abysmal. Catcher in the Rye, that one. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. She actually loaned me her own copy of that. It was a first edition with the dust jacket. It had been a copy of her father's. So they were pretty common ones, easy to pick up at a yard sale, which is how I've gotten a lot of my books, or used bookstores. There used to be more of them around than there seem to be now. So So that's how that's going. Let's see what's in these bags. Mike had found these 2 bags with lots of odd bits in them, and they're falling apart. It looks like some of the stuff in them is falling apart because these are old punks. You know, those ones as kids, they always told us, oh, they'll keep the mosquitoes away. They don't do diddly squat to keep the mosquitoes away. Quick stick felt dots. Oh, that's to keep things from scratching up your furniture. I shall need that. Cassette tape. Who still has? Who still got cassettes besides me? Oh, I'd wondered. Well, there went something metal. That is one of the 2 chargers to the digital camera. All right, we're going to sit you there. I actually have a bag for stuff that needs to go downstairs because it's missing its felt. That left long ago. Goes to the little Fisher-Price house. Still have that. That is the lock for the one window because that needs to get all the old paint off of it. Dad repainted everything. There are half a dozen pencils. They can go downstairs as pencil can. Oh, Mike, sewing machine needles. I wonder if they'll fit your machine. We'll find out. Now, this is what drives my family nuts. This little thing, this is why I was so good working in a bookstore. I used to be able to tell you just from the cover. We used to have a contest every winter for the 8 years I worked at Walden Books. And it started on Black Friday and went until Christmas Eve. And you had to be able to find a book for a customer that didn't know what the title was and they didn't know the name of the author. They just knew what the cover looked like. I held the record at 4. And that was through sheer luck. But I have this I used to be able to tell people, oh yeah, that's on this section, but it's on this shelf. And it's about 3 feet over. And it just used to drive everybody nuts. They're like, how do you remember that? Like, I don't know, but I could. But that kind of memory, this is just a plasticky vinyl belt, right? This goes on the horse, on the saddle for the old Johnny West doll, which one of my brothers had. And all the little bits of toys, it's like drives my sister nuts. She's, how do you know what that goes to? It's like, because I do. I don't know how. I just know that I do. Like, this is Lord of the Rings. This is a scabbard for one of the swords. And then this should be on the shoulder of the, when he goes through the mountain and there's the Witch King or whatever he's called. So that should be with that. That should be with Theoden. Oh, that needs work. That's my dad's old pocket knife. That's got to go downstairs. Anything that's toy that I can recognize. I don't think we still have that. We used to have a thing called battling tops. And then we had the knockoff one, which is smaller. That little thing is to that. You'd widen the string around the top, then you'd hold your finger on the top and you'd yank it, and they would battle each other. They'd bang into each other. But I'm pretty sure that game is long gone. So that one can go, and I know what game that goes to. I've got that. It's amazing the crud I find. Another seashell. Oh, hi, Sherry. Does anybody need seashells? I've got some, like this one's got some cool colors to it, but I've got like 2 bags full because lion's head, that tiny little lion head, that's to the doll from Narnia. Peter, I think, is the older brother. That goes to the dining room window. That should be downstairs. Oh, this goes to this. This is the card from the Operation game, which is currently in my sister's basement because that's where all that stuff went to. And then Lego bit, a little tiny thing. This, I know what that goes to. There in the playroom. Oh, look. I remember this. So this is a lump of onyx. They hit a vein of it. They were digging pretty deep out at Westchester University. And all of us kids were grabbing chunks of it. So I had a little bit of onyx there. Cooper's beer. Oh, wait a minute. These don't match. But actual chopsticks. But where the other parts are, I do not know. I'm trying to get a drum for that. I'll put that down there for a second. Because, you know, old chopsticks, if you have them, they're good for holding the plant up. They definitely are good for that. I use pencils. I've got so many pencils. So I try to use them up. Oh, there's a Harry Potter one. Considering it's not sharpened, how come the eraser is half used? Greenfields. Turbo Weld. Some old pencils, like this is, you know how pencils will say number 2, number whatever? This is number 909. This is a drawing pencil. General's Carbo Weld Blue Boy. It's not blue, it's a regular pencil. But sometimes these old pencils can be worth something. I know I have one that's an old Wawa logo one, and I have to find it again because I want to get that lifted because it's actually, it's about, for that original logo from the 60s, the comps I found for it are about $12 for one that's not used, which that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So, yeah, what else is in here? 2 old keys. Foot to something for the sewing machine. And 2 pens, which I bet won't work. We'll throw that away. Dot thing. Where would I put this? Up here or down there? I know. I'll put that downstairs. The cassette tape should go to my room. I've never actually seen this movie, Sleepless in Seattle, but I have the cassette tape because the music was really good. I need a piece of paper. And an envelope. Oh, you're a pencil. Bic Velocity pencil number 2. I thought that was a pen. And sure enough, that pen doesn't work. So that one's going. Oh. So how many of you have little junk drawers at home? Well, these might come in handy for crafting. This was some little thing of Michael's. Came with I know that price tag. That's from the Delaware Art Museum. But they're interesting little crystals in a fake little pirate chest. These are 2 foil holiday gift cards. These I'm going to put downstairs in the Christmas stuff. I have some ephemera stuff that I'm putting together. Oh, let's get the dust out of there. So that when I will not be able to do Christmas in July this year because I'll be at summer camp when that happens. And let's see what we've got. Okay, that's where this came from. This interesting little bit of handmade lace. This is all odd little bits. This should be in the little chest of drawers in the office. So that go there. Why I have a little stick, I don't know. Trash it. Just trash it. Oh, another cassette tape. Hang on to that. Avon? Oh, it's empty. Good packing though. Send that downstairs. Oh. If I'm not mistaken, these need to go to the theater group. If I think these are right, that I sold the yeoman uniforms to. Because I think these are on the yeoman uniforms. I will have to look into that. Oh, wow. Lots of itty bitty stuff and more seashells. See about them in a second. Oh, this is a whole bag of whatnot. And, okay. I don't know what it is, but it's very well packed up in there. Thread stuck on it. So how many of you have little drawers? Most people have a junk drawer in the kitchen, but we all know there could be that desk drawer that we haven't actually gone through in forever, or just some other little drawer or a box where we've just tucked stuff and never really we never really went back and ever cleaned it out. And that's how you end up with all this accumulated little stuff. Oh, okay, I know what this is. These are the tacks for upholstering a chair. I got these from Maria, California Thrifter. And then I didn't know where they disappeared to. They ended up in the bag. I don't want to rip the bag, because if they start falling out of a box. So the boxes are really cool, black and orange. They'd be kind of cool for, I think on my screen it looks a little red, but that's a darker orange. But these actually match a piece of furniture in this house. So I will be able to fix it and reupholster it. It's missing half the tacks. So when she had these, and it's because it's a cut velvet settee, and then in the attic there's horsehair. The horsehair stuff, we have the chairs too. We have the little settee, which is the little love seat, and we have, well, there's one chair back here, and then I think the other two, because there were two straight back ones, and then there was one armchair. and then there was the settee, and they're in the attic. And these are the kind of tacks. And I bought all 3 boxes because I don't know how many I'm going to need, because there's all the chairs as well as the love seat, because it's a whole parlor set. And if you've ever sat on horsehair, you don't want to. You'll remember being poked in the butt every time you moved. And you'll know that, yeah, it's not fun. All right, this is sewing stuff. This is a short zipper. We're going to put that with the other stuff. Fabric. He is beat up, but I wanted to copy him. He's an easy Christmas ornament to make because he's just a little bit of cotton batting, little nose, mustache. Those are seed beads, and then it's just little holiday stuff, pattern fabric for the hat. We're going to put that up there. A reweaving needle for woven fabrics. I had one of these in a sale before. This is the other one that I held on to keep. So that's sewing. That's got to go to that cabinet. Oh, peacoat buttons. Ones with the anchor on them. Quite a few of them in here. Oh, the never-ending saga of sewing stuff. Okay, and then that. So this torn up bag. Ooh, a lot of dust in the bottom of that. Let's get that off the desk. It's trash night, which is why I figured if I go through all this stuff, I can get it out of here now. I don't know what's in this, but I'm sure it's not tea. It's too heavy. Ah, little bitty white glitter. This is out of the kitchen. What's left of extra red and silver beads. Those were, that was a kit that you made pins with safety pins. Oh, there's a whole fall set of glitter. So it's just odd bits. Oh, that was, I wonder if that still works. That is to one of the sewing machines in the house. Which one, I don't know. So there's just odd little bits to craft with. Oh, there's a tiny little pink poodle. He's teeny tiny. I'm gonna hang on to him and put him with the stuff that's one of these days I have to have a sale that's little teeny tiny. Oh, this was something, it was supposed to be, it was put out for Harry Potter, and they were such poorly made things. They just mass produced so quick some stuff for the first ones, and it's supposed to have some kind of seal in there, but it didn't really look like anything that ever showed up in the movies. And it says Gringotts on the outside, but you can't really, and it's missing the cover. So I'm just going to trash that one. That's not one we need. All right, so this is all crafty bits. We will put the crafty bits back in. We will put that in the bag of crafty bits. We know that all has a home that it could be in that is not here. Not in Mike's room. Now this, though, I don't know what's in here. Absolutely do not know what's hiding in here. Looks like a lot more, oh, flag party picks. If anybody needs a bunch of these for crafting, let me know. There's quite a few in there. So we've got American flags. Oh, these are all green. That's the back, the silver, but they're, see them better on this side. They're all as little, I guess these are things you use in bedazzlers, but I just glue them on. So this is just more crafty stuff. Oh, I should take this to summer camp with me. If anybody's doing leather work, they have to do a bracelet thing with GIMP. So my TARDIS bag, which is showing its age, it has all my scout stuff in it, is behind me. Vogue Star belt clasp, still on the original card, but it's been bounced around in here. So we've got that. Oh, this is a handle to make a purse and hang it on. That I know should be in the front room because that's where all my supplies are for that. This looks like it needs a little work. The trimming is coming off. So this needed some glue work. Interesting little thing. Mr. Dog Owner. That's not the dog license. Mr. Dog Owner, your license and tag are in this envelope. See that the tag is securely attached to the collar. A duplicate tag can only be procured by producing the original license upon payment of, get this, 25 cents to the county treasurer. Furthermore, you are liable to prosecution if tag is not worn by the dog at all times. Protect yourself and your dog by having it properly tagged and under control. How old do we think that is? Now, on the back, it says Roxy. Roxy was one of the English Springer Spaniels that my great aunts had up in that house in Norwood. These are some kind of rivet things. They're copper. They're just, see if I can get it around so you can see it. Can you see that they're split? Center there? But it's not split all the way down, and they don't bend. So I guess there's some kind of rivet thing tucked in there. But they're copper. I got a little thing downstairs that's all little copper things. Yep, Gringotts is in Harry Potter because it's the bank. Oh, I know. I had saved this for. I used to make my own note cards and stuff, and I had saved these to do something with, but they've gotten kind of squished now. I haven't done any kind of crafting like that in a long while. What else? Oh, an old thing of sculpty clay. It's still squishy too. I don't even remember how to use this stuff, and I've got tons of it tucked away. An unopened thing of Scribbles glitter paint. Well, that should be in the basement. Oh, hello. Piece of glass. Okay. This is a piece of bamboo. And for a while there at the art museum, we were selling all kinds of fun little toothpick holders because they're in an area on the edge of Wilmington, Delaware, that there's a lot of money and a lot of big old houses and a lot of entertaining. And they made these little picks. This has little fake paper bamboo leaves on the little picks. And This was the display one, so she let me just have it when we were done with it. See, some of them, the bamboo, the paper's gone. And that's what the heck's buried down in here. Well, this does not need to be in this giant bag. This should be, why? This could be in a much smaller bag and tucked away. Oh, I guess this was tied around it. Two's company called the right pick, hors d'oeuvre picks. First time I saw that word as a kid, I thought it said whores devour. Two's company was a neat company. We bought a lot of stuff from them to sell in the gift shop. I don't know that they have a well, I don't need that part. I'll throw that part away. I don't know if they have a retail thing online. I think they might be wholesale only. They'd always had some cool stuff. And there was another one called Dead Fred. And they always had some really wild stuff too that you could use around the house, and even had stuff for kids. Like they had special chopsticks for kids that were actually like rubberized, and they were actually joined together, so it was really easy for kids to start to learn as a little one how to use them. They had I remember they had toothpick holders that actually um they actually had uh a a white fake body that had the holes in it that you could stick toothpicks in. We sold some bizarre stuff occasionally. But we had that one for what was his name? Keith Haring? Can't remember the illustrator, but he a lot of his stuff that he did was just white figures, white drawings. So we were looking for anything we could find that was close to and symbolized his types of drawings. So that way we could sell it, because they used to have oh, that one's broken. Well, they used to have a thing that said we couldn't have more than 25% of all the stuff in the store be things that were not directly tied to an exhibition. That's not as easy as that sounds. It's really not. So, here's the pair of scissors. I want to protect this little bit of glass. But that's, so you had to really search sometimes to have things match up. I want to, this is to some little frame, and it's a nice size. I don't have any tape. Mike doesn't have any tape at his desk. So I will, if I can get it open again. Oh, there we go. I will tuck this in here if it'll, you're not going to fit in there, are you? Oh, you will, just barely. Just barely. So it's in the top of the tin, which is going to where all the craft stuff is. So, are these usable for, I don't know if these are really usable. Maybe. I'll make a decision about those little things. Put them in here. That's going downstairs. These are going to go downstairs. This goes to the other room. That goes to my bedroom. I'm going to make a call about that. That's crafty that can go upstairs. That should be, that can go front bedroom. That Gumpy clay is downstairs. The glue this needs is downstairs. This can go, the wood stuff's downstairs. The sewing stuff for that is downstairs. That's downstairs. All right. We're doing well here. That is not a cat snoring. That's Michael. He's sleeping. Well, these are interesting. What are these seeds to? I think these are some seeds to the milkweed that the monarch butterflies, the caterpillars, will eat. It's not marked, but they look a lot like it. I'll go spread them somewhere outside. So the last thing we've got is the teeny tinies. Now there's two more. I saw a thing, I remember seeing a craft thing once where you took the shells like this and you made angels out of them. And there'd be a little head with arms up here, but then this was the skirt. Some of the cats snore. Not all of them. Actually, this is a better thing for this. It's a tiny little bag that's empty. We shall put the extra teeny tiny leaves in there. Come on. Come on. Of course, there's always one. I don't have that many fingernails left. Oh. That can go over to my room, into my desk drawer where I have all the stuff for. Actually, that's probably where I should put that. So we've got just this little bit, and then we're gonna go because let's see what's in here. It looks like a lot of buttons. Because I've been sitting up now for almost 2 hours, and it's beginning to really hurt. And I also have to go get something soft to eat and take a naproxen before I can go to bed. Oh, this is my kind of stuff to play with. So a lot of these are buttons. That looks like a tiny little flashlight light to one of the old school metal flashlights, of which we still have some. That should go downstairs to the kitchen. Right there. Oh, there's another piece of that. Oh no, this isn't. This one doesn't feel the same as the rock. This one's not cold. This is actually a chunk of tar, and it looks just like a chunk of obsidian, but it's very lightweight because it almost feels like plastic. But it's very. It just broke a corner off. It's very breakable. But it's interesting, and they left a pile of goo one time when we were kids, and we were out there with a hammer breaking pieces off. I think I may mess with one of my Boy Scouts with that one. So, what is hiding in here? Odd little bits that I have no idea what they are. This doesn't look like it is attached to anything. Oh no, there's some glue. So at some point, this should have been on something. So that looks like an old street light. So maybe that's to one of the old buildings for the train set. A keyring thing, a little metal tab. Couple of little random little gold balls on little wires. The house is full of this kind of stuff. But this is what's cool in here is these buttons. There's quite a few. Look, I've got little Easter eggs. So I've got what, three little Easter eggs. Another piece of that rock. These are in a bag that's too big. These are really old though. This bag is ruddy with dust, so it must be the bag I found them in. Oh yeah, because some of them, the rhinestones have fallen out. They're glass, and then they have pink glass, and then they've got little tiny rhinestones in them. But I see why they're still in this cruddy bag is because there's 2 rhinestones down in the bottom. Don't want to lose those. It'll take a really tiny pair of tweezers to be able to fix that. But I will, because they're really cool buttons. And those I would probably sell. Oh, look. He's a little fuzzy bumblebee. They're probably honestly just odd bits that, you know, when you sweep the floor in a store where you work and you find these odd things. Now some of these are old, like these 2 are kind of old buttons. But I'm sure most of these are just things that were picked up. These 2 are metal. That's kind of interesting. Looks like it's all squished, but it's not. That's the way it's meant to be. Oh, this is a cannonball. This should be in that bag to go with the toys, because the set with the cannonball has a carrying case of its own. Some other little kind of rock, it's a piece of jasper. This is actually a bead. It's a nice little rhinestone. Beads should go there. Tiny little jingle bell. But most of these aren't figural. There's some that are just plain black. That one's got some lines to it. No, well, these 2 actually match. Oh, they're black. They don't show up real well. But yeah, Mike's been a snorer most of his life. But we would sweep the floor, and they were just like, well, you know, if you find any buttons or something on the floor, we're not going to search for, you know, what it was from. Yeah, I remember this. This one was off. This was off. This one I think was off a shirt that I used to have. This one was off a pair of pajamas from Mike. I have a little tiny letter G. These are plain. That one's plain. Let's just show you the fun ones. So this one's a swirl. And then this big one, I'll use this one on a purse. That's kind of cool. This is a wooden one. And it's little bells. And then we've got a little, I think this one's Daisy Kingdom. A little metal one. And then there's a little white daisy one. And there's this one. But, you know, they were like, we're never going to go look and find where they came from. So just sweep them up and throw them away. And if you see any you want any, just take them. Okay. So, you know, I would. So I ended up with some of these really cool ones. And most of them need to be washed off. But because they've been bouncing in that bag for a while. And I've got a little kitty cat. A weird little frog. But check this one out. He looks like a Boy Scout. He's not going to go back in there. He's going to have to go over to my room, to my curio shelf. And then there's two fat little, these aren't even these were off of something, because they were probably off of some holiday display, something. They were, for a while there in the 90s, things would come in all glued onto them in the early 2000s, and stuff would pop off the decoration things. But I've got two fat little ladybugs. I think I'll put them in my little shelf too, because they're adorable. And now I've just got a lot of dust and crud on my table. But that's good, and everything has a place. I've filled, throughout. I think I've thrown out probably only about, what's less than a quarter, a fifth. I think I've thrown out about a fifth of it, but a lot of it has places now. That's why it was in the bag. It was stuff that got cleaned up from one area and didn't have a place. But a lot of this has a place, so I can get it to the right place. There's very little here that I don't know where I'm going to put it, like these guys. I had to find that box or bag of shells that came from the house clean out and put them with that. And these can all go with, so since so many of them are figural, I'll put them in the front room, what's eventually the office, because I have this little, it's very 1950s. It was in my sister's when it was her room. It's a cabinet that's got a couple of drawers in it, but it's covered with this quilted material. And she'd had it forever, and then when she got married and moved out, she didn't want it, so I have it, and it's full of fabrics and odd bits for making the purses that I had made. There's even some cool Japanese fabric bits in there too. So those kind of things I would a lot of times would have used on the purses that I used to make, because I would love to be able to get back to that. But health-wise, we're not anywhere near that yet. And then the foot part for the power for the foot pedal for Michael's sewing machine broke somehow. Piece broke. So they make so much stuff with plastic these days. It's crazy. So it need one of these. So we can't do any sewing on the machine right now. So any of that's gonna have to wait a little bit. All this dust into the trash bag. There we go. Yay! So that's good. And I'm glad that I found stuff that I know I have a place for. Now, some things, getting to the place. Now that's a problem. This should be put in a plastic bag, make sure no dust and it gets on it, and it should go into the china closet in the dining room for later use. But I cannot get to the china closet because there's big bins and boxes in the way. While most of them are empty, not all of them are empty, because it's the stuff I used to do flea markets with. I'm a long way away from being able to do a flea market right now till I get these hernias fixed. And I can't do one without Michael because of the pinched nerve still in the spine. But that should go in there. But that's the only thing that I know where it should go to be better organized, but I can't get to where it needs to go. So I will put it in a sandwich bag, and I will have to decide where it's going to live until I can get to that china closet. Might be able to tuck it on a higher shelf in the kitchen cabinet in the hutch. That would keep it safe. But a lot of this other stuff, it's great. It has a place now, and it can go to its place. That's progress. It's not a lot, but it's progress. And I'm happy to actually have gotten some kind of progress done today because most of today was flat on my back and reading. Um, and even now, I mean, she's right. You got to watch it because when you're sitting at a desk, you have a tendency to hunch forward. She wasn't kidding because I'm pinching the one. And everything is sore. So I am going to go. So you don't have to hear the snoring. But you know what? Let's do the happy dance and know that this is coming off. They told me just in case to leave it on today, in case I need to come back. And good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. I will not be going back this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, so, uh, so it looks like it's just gonna have to be sore a little longer. I'm hoping I'm okay. I've already made arrangements though, in case I'm not, because there is a Boy Scout service project this Saturday that I was going to be at because we would be putting Memorial Day is the end of the heck was that? Oh, it was a box of Michaels fell down. Box of stuff for work. Um, we'd be putting flags on veterans' graves, and at the local Chester Rural Cemetery, there is a veteran circle that has Union and Confederate soldiers in it. Um, Veteran Circle is quite large, and the last veteran burial that was added to the circle was for Desert Storm, which was during Bush Sr. was president at the time. And it has the stone, which I told the boys about at the meeting on Wednesday night, that actually has the stone for the Essington ammunitions plant that exploded during World War One. So they want to see that. I haven't told them about the cannons that are there or about the big marble sculpture of a Civil War soldier. And then there's a gun there from Korea and another smaller cannon from um, yeah, World War II that are up on pedestals and have names around it on the pedestal on the side, and they're for particular regiments from the area that had so many casualties. So they're big memorial spots. So, and if I can find it, there is a mausoleum there that used to have a gorgeous iris stained glass window, rumored to be a Tiffany stained glass window. Now, there is a church in Chester that has uh, the father, because there's Louis Tiffany and then there's Louis Comfort Tiffany. And I think Comfort Tiffany was the son, but the father was the first one to start doing stained glass. But his stained glass tends to be extremely heavy because his way of getting variations in color was to fold the glass over on itself and make layers. So they're extremely heavy. And they are signed, and that's the one who did the windows at St. Cecilia's in Chester. Maybe someday I'll be able to go film that because I'd love to get them on film just for historical sake. Because I don't think there is anything documenting them much in this city. Anyway, they're very, very cool to see. They're incredibly beautiful. So hopefully if I could find that, that would be cool. If you guys would be interested in anything that's kind of local to me and would be interested in seeing some of the incredible statues and carved artwork at that cemetery, I could do a video of that if you want. There are some beautiful pieces. There's a beautiful one at a tiny little cemetery that I used to pass when I was going to to go do shows at Thespis, etc., which was in a Unitarian church. And there's this gorgeous weeping woman over the tombstone. And while the stones themselves, maybe people may think of them as morbid, but I look at some of these carvings, and they are incredible art forms. And that stone was interesting because it actually would have had a photograph, because the one with the weeping woman, there's actually an oval cut out where there would have been a photo there, but it's so old, the photo is long gone. But yeah, if you want to see stuff that's to the area, you know, I will do that. I still have to give you a walk around tour to see what's been updated on the outside of the house with the roof and the downspouts. But they've still got to come back and fix where those two downspouts are. Nothing is leaking, so that's good. We had about 20 minutes of heavy rain. Nothing leaked inside the house. I didn't see where they didn't put a downspout on this side, but I did see the kitchen porch roof where I said it was going to overflow because they never put the downspout back in. And sure enough, it's overflowing all over the sidewalk, and it's trying to come around, and it comes down on the kitchen steps. So they are going to have to come back and fix that. But otherwise, thank you. I seem to have a dry house for the first time in years. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to go. You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend. Keep me in your prayers, and keep all of us, you know, I mean, there's several of us that have health issues. So just put a general prayer of goodwill out to all my viewers. I would appreciate that. I will be doing that. And I'm going to go because I have to go downstairs and make myself a packet of oatmeal, and because I have all soft foods today. Soft food doesn't stay in your system long. You're hungry all day. But I need to take a naproxen before I go to bed, and I cannot take that without some kind of food in my stomach because it just messes up my stomach too much. So, the CAT scan did show what we thought. There is an ulcer in there. That did show up too. We thought there was, but there's a stomach ulcer, which explains a lot. But that could be from being on the naproxen for so many years. So I'll get that taken care of too. It's always good to know, no matter how good or bad the news may be, I've always felt it's best to know, because when you know, you can then plan. You can then try to deal with it, no matter how difficult it is. It's better to know. I don't like surprises like that. So I will go, and I need to start. I have a lot of tiny mini things. I need to start seeing about either filling a jar with them and then selling that off, or just have a teeny tiny sale where everything's like I don't know, $1. Put that guy in there. We'll see. So have a good night, and I'm glad I did still get to stay online and be live for you guys. I was kind of worried about that once I finally got home this morning. I was like, I really don't want to cancel again, but I'll have to see how I feel. And I think an hour is my limit. I've been sitting up now here since 9 o'clock, and so 2 hours is about everything can take right now until all of the soreness from poking and prodding, and then the stuff gets the inflammation. It's time, because it hurts. So have a good weekend. By all means, if you like what you saw or like any of my videos, I greatly appreciate giving it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you'd like to be on this journey too of helping clear out a house. And I'm motivating you. I hope that you don't always have to do big projects. It can be something simple like dealing with a bag, a drawer. Because if I hadn't gone through some drawers, some of this stuff wouldn't have a place to be. So sometimes just do something small. You don't have to always tackle big projects. Just sometimes it's just one shelf in the cabinet or one bookshelf. Doesn't matter how big or small it is, as long as it's a step forward. And we can all do that. One step forward. Remember, our houses didn't get packed overnight. They ain't going to get cleared out overnight without a dumpster. And none of us really want to do that. So, since there's not much I can do, I will probably be working more on little bit stuff. I'm hoping in the time I can sit up tomorrow, since, well, actually, I could do that laying down, since I have the photos done already of those postcards I showed you last week. They should be getting listed because I've got the photos in the phone, so I can at least do the draft laying down. Okay, now I know what I'm doing tomorrow. So, that's the game plan. That's the game plan. I'll try to get those listed, and I've been putting some aside because I want to do a drop sale of postcards for you guys before they get listed, and so hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Because if I do get it done, it'll probably drop on Sunday or Monday night. And if you're a member of the channel, you get the drop sales 24 hours before. So if it's going to drop on Sunday night, I have to get it to my members by Saturday night. So, but I try to make those drop sales when I do have them drop on a Sunday. So I hope you guys had a good time and have a good night. And as usual, let me see who is live for you. Sugar Britches, Sweet Ass Stuff, is still going live with her sale. She's the only one I know of that's doing a sale right now. Oh shoot, where'd it go? I need the link. Okay. Here we go. Here's the link for Lorianne. She's got her husband with her tonight. And if you want to go see a sale, there you go. She's still on. Have a good night, everybody.